did you
blah.
get your
Yada,
first
yada,
book
yada.
published?
It was a Thursday night in San Francisco. And I was giving a talk. And before the talk, I was having dinner with Jerry Jampolsky. Do you know who Jerry Jampolsky is? Jerry Jampolsky was one of the first people with the publishing of the course, but he also wrote the first popular book about it called Love is Letting Go of Fear.
I do know
He's
that
a
book.
real giant.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
he and his wife, Diane Cirencione. Wonderful people. So he and I were having dinner, and he said to me, you should write a book. Now at that point, I had been lecturing on the course for 5 years. He said, you should write a book. And I said, well, people have told me that, but I don't feel pregnant with a book. And he said, well, it's all in your tapes. You give these lectures, it's in your tapes. And I said, yeah, but I don't know how to get it out of the tapes onto a page and turn it into a book. And he said, why don't we just join in consciousness? That there is someone out there right now, you and I joining in consciousness, that there's someone out there who would know how to do that. I said, okay. That was in San Francisco on a Thursday night. 2 days later, on a Saturday morning at my lecture in LA, a gentleman came up to me, said he was a literary agent, and had I ever thought of writing a book? And I said, that's so amazing, and people have told me that, but I've said I don't feel pregnant with a book, and I met Jerry, blah, blah, blah. Now, I don't know if that man ever tried to call me. I never got a call from him. That was pre-voicemail message, I think. I don't know, whatever. I never heard from him. 5 days after that, so exactly 1 week to the night after Jerry Jampolsky and I in San Francisco, I'm in New York, because I used to fly around a lot in those days to talk. And I gave a talk in New York on the course, you know, doing my thing. And I had started lecturing in 1983, and this is 1988 now. And after I talked, there was a line of people waiting to speak to me, and there was one man at the end, and I just had this flash of knowing I had destiny with him. And he introduced himself as a literary agent. Had I thought of writing a book? He said the same thing. I said, but I don't know how to get it out. He said, I'm your man. And he did, Al Lohman, and he, you know, got the woman who would work with me on the proposal and blah, 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 and that's, the book came out. And then I was very, very lucky because Oprah Winfrey read it, and this was before her book club. So she really gave me an extraordinary gift of the kind of exposure that her show could.
Yes.
So that's
yes,
my
and
story.
then that's took off from there.
Yeah.
So how did you...
I was already lecturing in Los Angeles and New York, but...
Okay, so almost everyone I know wants to be a speaker, and everyone says, did you hear Marianne? She spoke again. Every single night she speaks, and you barely use notes. How do you become a speaker if you're passionate about something?
Well, I think what has served me in my career is that when I was a student of the course and out there, this professional niche did not exist. So I had no ambition. In those days, you could either become a clergy person. My mother kept saying, your father and I have discussed it, we will send you to rabbinical school. I didn't see that for myself. Or you became an academic. You were a teacher of comparative religion or something, and I didn't see that for myself. I was just a woman who stood up and talked to people about my passion about God and about these books. And like any other teacher, you know, the Russian literature professor is not Dostoevsky, but the Russian literature professor has read Dostoevsky and might help you unpack your own understanding and help foster your own passion for Dostoevsky. And so there was no reason at that time for me to ever think that this would turn into a career. And I think that that was such a blessing that I didn't, when you say everybody wants to be a speaker, creeps me out.
Yeah.
Because that's the last thing, you know, there's a difference between being hungry and being ambitious. And so this whole career niche thing that's formed, I'm glad that I feel blessed by the fact that I wasn't here for that. This was before all that.
So you were just doing your passion and sharing your passion.
And that's what I'm doing today.
Yes.
And whenever I deviate from that, you know, I've never sold as many books as when I didn't even know what bestseller, the phrase bestseller wasn't even on my radar in those days. I wouldn't say I was an idiot savant, but I was innocent by, you know, I was, you know, it's when the, in the beginner's luck is the Zen mind, the beginner's mind.
Yes.
I had a beginner's luck, and that it was a Zen mind. I had nothing. There was no self-will there because I didn't think there was anything to have self-will for, because this career niche didn't exist.